The champagne glass slipped from Emily's trembling hand, but she didn't even notice as it shattered into glittering shards on the ballroom floor. Her eyes were locked on the dance floor, where her husband of 15 years, Michael, spun another woman in his arms, laughing, smiling, lost in a rhythm that wasn't hers. The orchestra swelled, guests clapped politely, and the chandeliers rained golden light down upon the scene. To everyone else, it was just a dance. But to Emily, it was a dagger twisting in her chest. The night that was meant to celebrate their life together had been hijacked by betrayal. The woman in his arms was no stranger either. Her name was Vanessa, a younger consultant Michael had recently hired. Emily had suspected their closeness, but tonight there was no denying the truth. Vanessa's red dress clung to her like temptation itself, and the way Michael's hand rested possessively on her waist left no room for excuses. Emily forced a smile when acquaintances glanced her way, but inside, her heart was shattering. She excused herself quietly, slipping out onto the balcony where the cold night air wrapped around her like a cloak. Her phone buzzed with messages, her son, Daniel, asking if everything was all right at the party. She typed back a simple lie, "Yes, everything is fine." But nothing was fine. And in the stillness of the night, Emily made a decision that would change everything. Emily had always been quiet, gentle, and patient. She had supported Michael from the days he was a struggling banker with nothing but ambition. She had worked 2 jobs to help put him through business school. She had sacrificed vacations, jewelry, even her own dreams so he could rise. And rise he did, into wealth, into status, into a man admired by all. But somewhere along the climb, Michael forgot who held the ladder steady for him. That night, as she sat in their lavish bedroom, Emily looked at the family portrait on the nightstand. Their son Daniel, now 18, smiling between them, unaware of the cracks forming in the family he thought was solid. Her eyes drifted to the home office where Michael kept his financial records. For years, Emily had quietly helped him manage things, making sure bills were paid and donations sent. She knew every account, every password. And for the first time, she felt no fear in holding that knowledge. By dawn, while Michael slept off his champagne and infidelity, Emily was already dressed. Her hands shook as she typed into his computer. One by one, she moved funds, not recklessly, but deliberately. Millions from his private accounts, thousands from hidden savings, even investments he thought no one knew about. But Emily didn't take the money for herself. Instead, she directed it where it was most needed. To the children's hospital where Daniel had once been treated for pneumonia. To the shelter where she had once volunteered secretly, giving warm meals to mothers with babies in their arms. To the scholarship fund she had once dreamed of creating in her late father's name. To the very employees Michael had laid off during his company's downsizing last winter, families left broken without severance. Every transfer felt like justice and healing woven together. By the time the sun rose, Michael's accounts were nearly empty. And Emily, with tears drying on her cheeks, felt lighter than she had in years. When Michael awoke, groggy and smug from the previous night, he reached for his phone. The flood of alerts made his blood run cold. Unusual activity detected on your account. Large transfer confirmed. Balance remaining, $0. Panic clawed at him. He stumbled into the office where Emily sat calmly, sipping her tea. "What did you do?" he demanded, his face pale. Emily looked up, her eyes no longer soft, no longer pleading. They were strong. "I gave it away," she said simply. "You what?" he shouted. "To the people who needed it more than you ever did. To the lives you forgot while chasing your own pride. To the dreams you crushed with your greed. I didn't take a cent for myself, Michael. But you'll never dance on my heart again." Her voice didn't tremble. It was the voice of a woman who had found her power after years of silence. Michael staggered back, his world collapsing. But then, something unexpected happened. That week, headlines exploded. Anonymous benefactor saves local hospital. Scholarship fund created overnight. Laid-off workers receive miracle payments. Communities buzzed with gratitude and awe. For once, the name Michael Grant, though tied to wealth, was linked with compassion. Reporters hounded him, charities praised him, families sent him letters of thanks. Michael stood before cameras, unable to confess the truth. That it wasn't him. It was Emily. And as he read the heartfelt words of children whose treatments were now paid for, mothers whose rent had been saved, students whose futures had been rewritten, Michael felt something shift inside him. For the first time in years, he wept. Days later, Michael walked into their son's room. Daniel looked up from his textbooks, his expression guarded. "Dad," he said flatly. Michael sat down, his shoulders heavy. "I messed up, son. With your mother. With everything." Daniel didn't reply. "But I saw what she did with that money. I saw what kindness can do. And for the first time in my life, I realized how empty I've been, even with all the wealth in the world." His voice cracked. "I want to change. Not just for me, but for you. And for her, if she'll let me." Daniel studied him quietly. For the first time, he saw not the proud banker, but a broken man searching for redemption. Weeks later, Emily stood at the shelter where she now volunteered daily, handing out warm soup to the homeless. Her hair was tied back, her smile genuine. She felt free, unburdened, alive. Suddenly, Michael appeared at the doorway, not in his tailored suits, but in a simple shirt, sleeves rolled up. He carried boxes of donated food. Their eyes met. "I don't deserve forgiveness," he said softly, "but I want to earn it. Not with money. With service. With humility. With love, if you'll let me try again." Tears blurred Emily's vision. She didn't answer with words, but when she handed him a ladle to serve beside her, the gesture spoke volumes. And for the first time in years, they stood together, not as banker and housewife, not as betrayer and betrayed, but as two souls rediscovering the true meaning of wealth. By morning, Michael's bank had been emptied. But in losing his fortune, he gained something far greater. Compassion, humility, and the chance to rebuild the trust of the woman he once betrayed. Their story became more than a scandal. It became a testament, that love without respect is hollow, that wealth without kindness is worthless, and that sometimes, losing everything is the only way to truly find yourself. Because in the end, the richest heart is not the one that hoards, but the one that gives.